What is up, all? Welcome into the wonderful, great, and ever entertaining Sports Arena. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00, waiting on a chance, Eric Wilson. But nonetheless, I'm not Eric Wilson, as you know. But we've known each other 18 years, so I could be Eric Wilson. Could I be? Could I be? No, because, if I was, I'd be wearing Cowboy stuff just because we all know Eric Wilson loves to wear the Cowboy stuff. But, that's neither here nor there. Just, let him know. Let him know. Remind him that, he's a Cowboys fan. But anyways, we get rolling tonight on the Sports Arena. Obviously, NBA playoffs to talk to. NBA playoffs to talk about, to say the least. And, yeah. So, a little bit going on. Obviously, the brackets, everybody advancing to the second round. We had a game 7 between Orlando and Cleveland, who both teams defended their home court. And, man, I got to say, Eric's closer to this. I can't wait to talk about this. But the closer they get to the young team that Orlando has, what they did this year. And the experience with Cleveland, not surprised they won game 7, how they went about and won it. A little bit of a different thing. But what up, Jamari? What did you think of Cleveland, man? I guess I'm not surprised they won because each team won on their home court. And in the playoffs, they say a series truly never starts. The old adage, the old cliche, I guess you could say, a series never starts till the home team loses a game. And on the Sports Arena, we've said that forever. Obviously, I know, Eric's obviously a little bummed about, Philly losing to to New York. But those last few games, look, Philly, people, and all the knee-jerk reaction, right? What's it going to be? Okay, Tyrese Maxey became sorry, saying it's, Joel Embiid's team. Joel Embiid is a beast. Yes. Did he miss a lot of games? Did he get banged up? Did he fight through it? Joel Embiid's freaking beast. Like, again, the whole I'll trust the process jokes aside and, him being out. But, look, man, game 6, 39 points and 13 boards. Like, absolute dog. Yes. Do you want to get past the first round, get past the second round, get to a conference championship, get to the NBA finals? 150 million %. Yes. Understand that. But I really don't think it's time to, see if you can trade, Joel Embiid or what you think, you might get back, you might not get back. I'm not laughing at Philly or that, Jamari. Yeah, that 1 for 15 shooting was absolutely pathetic, man. But look, the unfortunate thing is when you have a bad game in the regular season, people are like, oh, okay, whatever, it's a bad game. Even if you have 2 or 3, they shake it off, right? But yeah, 1 for 15. At an NBA level, like I would go 1 for 15. Well, when I'm in my heyday in shape, probably not 1 for 15. I get open and hit a shot. People say, oh, everybody says that. No, I didn't say I go 15 for 15. And I know you're not hearing that, Jamari, because I'm not saying I go fit, but 1 for 15. Oh, it reminds me, anytime I can take a shot at that school down south, here in Arizona, when Duke was playing Arizona, and no, not my Sun Devils, because if it was my Sun Devils, I'd be like not wanting to talk about this. But Gilbert Arenas had a phenomenal, obviously, college career, had a very solid NBA career, Agent Zero. Gilbert Arenas went like 5 for 18 or 4 for 18 against Duke that night. Just could not get anything going. And Duke beat Arizona when I literally thought that 2001 team, maybe from a depth standpoint, because from a talent standpoint, I think the 2001 Arizona team, I know, kids, you can YouTube that. You can look it up. But the 1997 team, they could go toe-to-toe starting 5 in talent. And the 2001 team, may have even had a little bit of a slight advantage. But, yeah, the Magic definitely have a bright future. I love, even though I like to pick on Duke, obviously during basketball season, Jamari, it's one of those things too where I love the Paolo Banchero pick, love that, and then Jalen Suggs the year before. I think this kid, those two play together coming into their own. Like, yeah, that's obviously not a not a big man like Shaq dominant, but I mean, you start talking about what these young guys can do and getting in the playoffs and get, a seventh game, because it's always that people that talk out of the other side of the mouth too. Oh, well, you have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to win. All right. Well, I mean, look, it's one of those things where, it's one of those things where if you win all season long, yeah, a young Holiday, like I could see that. And handles why, and look, I mean, and I'm not saying, I mean, Paul Banchero with his length too. I mean, that's almost kind of like, and I don't know if he's got, and again, handles too. It's the same handles, but I mean, it's almost like having a Penny Hardaway. Although I think maybe Banchero, I mean, Hardaway's a good shooter though too. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you look at it like that, it's one of those things where, man, that is. I mean, Suggs coming out, obviously the 1 year at Gonzaga. UCLA fans love him, by the way. But I mean, UCLA fans can't stand him. But yeah, I mean, what the Magic did, and when you look at it, I mean, the Cavs win in 6, or 7, pardon me. I don't know. Magic did this game 6, at home, 103 to 96. Hammered them in the fourth quarter. Everything you want to see. When you look at that box, the points real quick, Banchero had 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Yeah, you'll take that all day long. And Wagner had a hell of a game too, 26 points, 11 for 11 free throws, 7 for 16 from the field, which again, it sucks when you have a bad game, especially because, and many can speak on this, many can speak on this. When it's a game 7, obviously it can be amplified even more. I mean, until you go all the way back until any of the greats won a title. I mean, Michael Jordan, obviously, okay, he's this great player, and then they get to the playoffs and they get bounced in the second round by the Pistons and all that. But yeah, Wagner 26 points. Suggs had 22 in game 6, 22 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal. And I mean, for Wagner, I mean, like I said, 26 points, 26 points, 5 boards, 2 assists and a steal. So like you get from a big 3 like that, then you go to, and if you want, I mean, look, Donovan Mitchell and what he's done. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, even in game 7, had dropped a 50 burger and they lost, like, which can happen in the NBA, as we've seen. Right. Yeah, that, you know what? That's a good one, Jamari. I didn't even think about that one. I didn't even realize. I mean, I was watching, but I didn't. But yeah, let's. Why Jet Howard didn't play, and then the game 7 final Sunday was 106 to 94. Banchero, though, like I said, 38 points, 16 boards, 3 steals. I mean, this kid freaking leaving it out there, and a young team, and yeah, that's a game 7 baller performance. Yeah, coach's decision. look, I didn't. And again, I'm trying to think about the reports pregame, in game, but I don't remember. I mean, if he's banged up, I don't know. But yeah, you look at Wagner. I mean, 1 for 15, although he was 4 for 4 from the line. So probably should have just kept camping out down low, right? Or Wagner, I guess you would say. But yeah, 6 points. But you look at Moncarroll, 38 points, 12. I mean, a triple double. Or no, not triple double. Sorry. I was looking at 16 boards, 38 and 16, 2 assists, 3 steals, a block. I mean, yeah, that's balling out right there. Suggs, though, I mean, you talk about field goals. I mean, he wasn't much better in the game 7. He was 2 for 13. 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. I mean, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, but 10 points. And then you get 13 from Will Carter Jr. So, I mean, look, that's going to be tough to overcome, especially when you have, Donovan Mitchell with 39. Strus had 13. Evan Mobley, 11 points. I mean, did play 41 minutes. I mean, I know he was obviously a little banged up, and they would see how he could do it. I mean, he played 41 to 48 minutes. So, look, this Cavs team, we started talking about it last year. I felt like it was a team that could definitely give the Knicks, last year give teams trouble. So they advance in the when you look at the playoff bracket, I mean, you got the Thunder taking on the Mavericks, as we know, 1-5 there. And then, the Mavericks dispose of the Clippers. And look, I remember them all year long for teams not playing defense. Well, if nobody's playing in the regular season, maybe Jason Kidd has it right. A guy that could obviously play defense and had insane handles. But Dallas, again, and the Clippers, look, you can say, James Harden, this and that. We'll get into that. But, James Harden didn't have, a great game points-wise, but a great game 6, but I mean, was dishing the rock. And, the whole Kawhi Leonard thing in the first game, Charles Barkley said it. And if you watched game 1 of the series, which I'm guessing a lot of you did watch game 1 of the series. Yeah, thank you, Jamari. Dallas surprised me in defense too. Boston in 5, yeah. I think the Eastern Conference playoffs, I said this a few weeks ago, Jamari. I don't know if you were here, but I said that if we were leaving Boston out, picking a team that could surprise them. Like, I just don't think you win you win your conference by 14 games, right? By 14 games, and anybody's really going to challenge you. I mean, look, people say, "Oh, they just got by Miami because Jimmy Butler didn't play." Dude, they pounded them by 34. You think Jimmy Butler scoring 40 every night on Boston? God, no. And I love Jimmy Butler. We know that. I love Jimmy Butler. I mean, even picking on John aside. But you win by 14 games. Look, to me, yeah, if you don't win the Eastern Conference, it's not even winning the title because, well, I mean, yes, for them, it would be winning a title. But if they don't win the Eastern Conference, yeah, this season total failure. Like, you failed. And do I think the Knicks, could give them trouble in the finals? I mean, look, I think the Cavs, you know what? I'm kind of with you, Jamari. I see it going, I can see it going 4 or 5. Or see it going 5, at least 4, obviously. But I can see it going 5, maybe 6, because I think that, Donovan Mitchell, again, has that fight. Cleveland has length on the wings. I mean, you always talk about it, and that's one thing that, the sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn would we talk about. But, I mean, the game has changed. You start getting those wing players, and guess what? It makes a lot of difference. Length, yes. Can you shoot the 3? Do I get sick and tired of teams shooting 3s and just putting bricks up and all that good stuff? I mean, yes, absolutely. I mean, look, Boston, 114.94. Then they lost 111-101. Okay, in Boston Garden. Then they go to Miami, 104.84, 102.88, and then back to Boston, 118.84. Yeah, do I think Jimmy Butler makes a difference? Do I think it forces 7? And with this Boston team, absolutely no how, no way. If I mean, yeah, you look at that last game back on last Wednesday, right? I mean, Jaylen Brown put in 25, but Derek White, like, 6-year player, and he puts in 25 for Boston. So, I mean, and Jason Tatum had 16 points. But look at that. Triple double. Or no, I keep doing that. I keep defense. He had all defensive rebounds, not a triple double. Sorry. 16 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, 1 block. Like, okay. But then you get, like I said, Jaylen Brown had the 25. He had 25 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. But then when you also, from Derek White, get that kind of performance, like 25 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Like, I mean, their whole plus minus, the whole starting lineup was plus. I mean, you had Tatum at plus 35, and you had Al Horford at plus 10, Drew Holiday at plus 22. I mean, 10 points for him, 6 boards, 5 assists, playing defense. Like, yeah. And then, like I said, you get White with 25 points, Brown with 25 points, and then off the bench, Hauser had 17 points for the Celtics. Sam Hauser, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. So, and I mean, it's crazy insane. Like, this Celtics team, yeah, Tatum can go off, Jaylen Brown can go off. You have Drew Holiday that, again, can put the points in, but you'll take him playing defense, right? I mean, it's not a crazy thought. Al Horford without Porzingis. That's so funny, Jamar. I was just gonna get that. That's the other thing. Like, he didn't play Game 7. They were probably stoked that obviously Cleveland and Orlando went to Game 7. So, I mean, look, I think Horford can. I think you got enough of a bench that you have guys. And yes, I mean, without Porzingis, like, do I think you get by Cleveland? Yes. Do I think the Knicks could make it a lot more interesting if they do get by Indiana? Again, I still have Boston winning the East. So to answer the question, yes, but I do think it's very interesting with the rotation because Horford, I mean, that experience, look, man, he knows how to play. He knows how to play. And again, like, you're going to want him defensively. He doesn't have to go crazy offensively, but against the Cavs, I mean, you're going to need a performance on Donovan Mitchell. So we'll see what Drew Holiday can do. But I think Porzingis, I mean, I think if this series goes, I mean, look, best case scenario for Celtics, they somehow 1-4, and then you get the Pacers Knicks going 7, because then Porzingis will probably be back for Game 1 if he doesn't play in the series. So he is out for this. They did, because I know it was like a high calf strain. And that's the one thing, man, Jamari, see, look at that. Because I was looking it up, and we were talking about it over the weekend, but I know it's a high calf strain, but obviously you don't want it to affect the Achilles for him. So again, okay, out for the series. So I do think Horford will hold up, though. But they would definitely, it would behoove them to me to win this in 4, no more than 5. If Cleveland does force it 6, like I said, I think they could. To me, that's insane, because if they force it to 6, I mean, again, it's still extra rest for him, but you get done in 4, Knicks Pacers go 6 or 7. I think you could feel good about getting them back for the Eastern Conference Finals, even if it's not Game 1. Because you look at I mean, before, because what he went out in Game 5, was it? Or Game 4, I should say. Sorry. Yeah, Porzingis, because he had 7 points. He only played the 14 minutes. Okay, so 7 points in 14 minutes for Porzingis in Game 4. And then in Game 3, where the Celtics won, Porzingis played 27 minutes, had 18 points. So yeah, that answers that. So look, it's awesome. I love this. I mean, we get to the Clippers and the Mavericks. What happened? Because again, I thought the Clippers would win that series. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jokic can play defense. You got a long enough body. You can change shots. You can disrupt shots just enough. So, but that being said, like, look, to wrap up the Celtics, yeah, I think with Porzingis, I mean, you got him because, yes, he is a unicorn. He does space the floor. Horford, again, I'm not just saying crafty vet. He's a hell of a player. I mean, yeah, if they wanted to feed him and go through him, but you have Tatum, you have Brown, Drew Holiday, like they have enough to do it, and they can get enough from their bench to give those guys breathers to where, again, it's not like they're playing crazy extra minutes. So we're going to step aside real quick, talk more NBA hoops on the other side, and looks like we should have Eric Wilson joining us on the other side. So I mean, don't go too far. We'll talk more hoops. He'll sit in therapy with me about his Sixers, because I still think they had a hell of a series. I think the Knicks are that good, and that Knicks are missing Julius Randle too. So anyway, gonna step aside. More Sports Arena coming up on the other side.
Connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
All right, back here on the Sports Arena. I am Michael Caratanino, waiting for Eric Wilson to jump on in shortly. Definitely hoping. But yeah, that's one thing. And I said it before the break. I mean, obviously the Knicks moved on, but the Sixers definitely could have won. I mean, those two games, I mean, Maxey balled out, showed he's that dude, and he's been growing into that dude. I know in talking to Eric and watching the Sixers more and watching them, I maybe thought Tobias Harris could be like that guy, but what Tyrese Maxey has done, I mean, alongside Embiid. And yeah, Embiid did miss a lot of games here. He was hurt. And people say, oh, he's just going to be hurt if you just want him for 60 games. So my theory, if he's only going to play 60 games, just sit him for the first, sit him for the first 25 games of the year, 30 games of the year. And then you work him back in slow. Boom. Boom. Well, hey, the Knicks made sure they got right. Hey, look, the Knicks did choke away a lead. And that's one of those things where the Knicks choked away a lead. But let's see. What up, E?
Hi, Mike.
Oh man, I didn't see your picture. Anyway, I'm sorry. I saw you. But it's a sports arena, and when you leave a Cowboys fan in charge, I just wanted to see your smiling face and say that your Sixers balled out, man. I know it's a playoffs, it's the first round, but man, I mean, look, I don't think you need to add pieces, figure it out, but you don't need to get rid of Embiid or Maxey. I'll tell you that much, man.
Mike, here's the thing about that series. Number one, I and you, better than anybody, know me when it comes to my Philly team. I mourn for a moment, but I remember for a lifetime. And the fact that the 76ers had to endure a Joel Embiid at 70%, and he still put up the numbers that he put up. He still was on the court. This man dealt with injury after injury. And listen, I am not one to make an excuse. So, John Shear, before you go running your lips, let me just remind you that your Miami Heat got trounced by the Boston Celtics. So just sit there and be quiet. I'm not going to sit here and harp on the fact that this team, my team, the Philadelphia 76ers, just didn't have all the right pieces around them. I'm very curious to see what happens this offseason. I'm even more curious because, of course, the talk of potentially, maybe, possibly bringing back the guy who has been quoted by saying, Tobias Harris over me? Jimmy Butler, the rumors have started. Now, whether that happens or not still remains to be seen. I don't know. It's too early to call it. But what I will say to you is this. The New York Knicks are a true team this year. And as a guy who still owns, to this day, a Patrick Ewing jersey, because, listen, in the 90s, the 76ers were, I supported them, Mike, but I'll be very honest with you, I was more a Stark, Oakley, Mason, Ewing fan than I was a 76ers fan. Let's just call it like it is. And for me, it's just one of those things where I look at this team now. My only thing that I got to tell you is please, for the love of everything that is holy, please, New York Knicks, if you do nothing else, please beat the Indiana Pacers, because I am not trying to relive Reggie Miller. I got all over the world for Sharon Miller. I ain't got no love for Reggie Miller.
I didn't know where you were going, dog. I was like, wait, but yeah. And that's, I mean, look, that's one of my most favorite, like, just highlights and in NBA history. And not because you were rooting for the Knicks, but like when Reggie turned to Spike and gave him the choke sign and Spike just had to sit out. And I love Spike Lee, you know that. But, oh, man, that I'm with you on that, because those were some phenomenal battles. Hey, let me ask you this, because Jamari was jumping in, and obviously I thought Porzingis may have been able to come back in this series, but and I was jotting stuff down today, but I guess I just misread. So he's definitely out for this series, no matter if it goes 4 or 7, whatever. But I said if it goes 4, if they can somehow beat the Cavs in 4, which I don't think they do, but you get Porzingis back for the Eastern Conference Finals, and what Drew Holiday means to them defensively, and Tatum and Brown, and what they've done, and just, I mean, even Horford, I mean, whatever, call him old man Horford. But Eric, the last thing, one of the other things I know you can't coach is experience. So yeah, it's not Porzingis. I understand that. We understand that. But having Horford in the starting lineup, I mean, it's not a bad thing for the Celtics.
No, it's not. And here's the thing about the Cavs, and I'll give all credit to the Cavaliers. What they did, Game 7, being down as many as 18 and finding a way to win. Listen, all credit to them. I heard you talking about the Magic earlier. Mike, Magic.
It's exciting, man. I mean, if you're a Magic fan, Eric, real quick, you got to be excited because these young kids ain't going anywhere. And the looks on their faces in Game 7, that's kind of the PO look that you and I saw from, like you said, guys like John Starks, Patrick Ewing in the 90s, Michael Jordan when he was losing to the Pistons. Like, that's the kind of look that both like Boncaro and Suggs and even Wagner, even though he shot terribly, but the guy had a phenomenal series. You got to be excited in Orlando.
Oh, Orlando is there's a different energy. It's an energy that hasn't been felt in the area in 5 years. You know, the last time the Orlando Magic were in the postseason, yours truly, along with our brother Jake Longholt, and rest in peace to our brother Alex Fleming, the three of us were in the arena. We were in what was then the Amway Center, now the Kia Center, you know, covering these games, talking to the Aaron Gordons of the world and the Nikola Vucevics of the world and the Evan Fourniers. And, I mean, for Jonathan Isaac to still be on that team now as a leader, playing with Banchero and Suggs and Wagner, just having that energy, completely. And shout out to my man, 96.9 The Game, Brandon Kravitz, man, for doing a hell of a job covering the team. Great guy. But this Magic team, Mike, you're absolutely right. I guess to quote Hamilton, they are young, hungry, and scrappy. But more importantly than that, they have no desire to settle for anything less moving forward. So I'm very excited to see what they do moving forward. But the Knicks, and I am not one to ride the coattails, but I will tell you this, based on what I saw firsthand, the New York Knicks, if they find a way to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, Mike, I'm telling you right now, because here's how I see it. Cleveland, you had to deal and you had to go 7 games with the Orlando Magic in order to get to the second round. You're beat up, you're tired. Now, granted, New York Knicks, kind of the same thing. You had to go 6 games with the Philadelphia 76ers, but you still, both these teams are battle tested.
Right.
I'm telling you this, Boston is going to clean up on Cleveland. Sorry, Cleveland. Hate me if you want. It's okay. I'm just letting you know. Wait,
Eric, are you saying Cleveland's irrelevant?
No, I'm not saying Cleveland's irrelevant. What I'm saying is Cleveland's fitting to get their clock cleaned by the best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. I anticipate this game going 5. I really do. The New York Indiana series, I think that's going to go 6, possibly 7. And I just don't know. I just want New York to come out. But Mike, a New York Boston Eastern Conference Final, bro, that just has world class written all over it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't pull a me at it. I wasn't on the fence because when you posed the question a few weeks ago, said, okay, who's the team that could surprise Boston? And I was saying earlier before you jumped in, like we all know they obviously won the Eastern Conference by 14 games. People were like, after the Game 2 loss to Miami, oh, well, see, they weren't tested for a month, man. It means nothing. Like, I can't say it means nothing. If you have no experience, if you're all rookies, maybe it means nothing if you won it by 14 games. But yeah, I'm with you on that, man. So I'm with you. But Eric had a drop. He'll be right back. But I'm with him on that. I completely get that, and it's one of those things where it's one of those things where like for Cleveland. And I mean, I can see what he's saying because like Boston, like I said, even without Porzingis, like it changes the offense. But Horford, again, you got that physicality. You still have guys out on the wings that can do it. And look, Boston's the jigsaw puzzle that other teams in the East couldn't solve, and a lot in the West too. But you figure, I mean, it is very going to be very, very interesting. And Jamal Mosley, I mean, the head coach, and yes, he did play at Colorado from 1997 to 2001. He was undrafted in the NBA. He was undrafted 2001. He went undrafted, but he played from 01 to 05 overseas. And then he started coaching in 05 to 07. He was with the Nuggets, player development, 2007, 2010, still with the Nuggets, but an assistant. And then 2010 to 2014 went to the Cavaliers as an assistant. 2014 to 2021, the Mavericks as an assistant. And then 2021. So what? This is his third season as head coach. This is his third season as head coach for in Orlando. And it's, you know, it's about getting that right coach, because we talk about having Aaron Gordon there, and like Eric saying, like was it Vucevic too? Like you look at that, it's like, man, you had an Aaron Gordon. I mean, in Denver, like again, guys, whatever, have different situations, teams not working, this and that. You're trying to play. You're trying to play to get yourself out of there. But man, what Jamal Mosley has done. I mean, he's that coach, man, and he came in and I mean, look, his first year they were 22-60. Then in his second year, I mean, look at that. They missed, and they missed the playoffs, obviously, but 22-60. Then you got a 12-game growth. Again, you're still 14 games below 500, but you go from 5th in the Southeast to 4th in the Southeast, 34-48. Then this year, bam, another 13 games. You go 47-35, first in the Southeast. I mean, you know, from missing the playoffs last 2 years and losing the first round in a game 7. And look, whoever had home court, I mean, I know it's easy to say now, right? Low-hanging fruit. Whoever had home court was going to win that matchup, was going to most likely win game 7. But yeah, I mean, Eric touched on that too, because when we look at game 7, I mean, look, Orlando was up by 6 at the end of the first, 24-18. Then it was 53-43. Orlando at the half, right? So you're up by 10, you're feeling good, but then Orlando got outscored, and Cleveland at home in the third quarter, man, just felt it. 33-15. And that was Orlando's that was their quarter that it was like, man, you know, that's the one quarter, you know, young team or not, that got them. It was 33-15. So it was 76 or no. 76-69, right? 68. 76-68 at the end of the third, and then after that, they outscored them by 4 more and got the 8-point victory. So, yeah, I mean, look, tell it 2 halves, because Orlando controlled the first half, came out, and I mean, it's not, the crowd was, you know, ups and downs, but the crowd was pretty quiet, and that was huge. And then like I said, you look at Banchero, 38 points, 16 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Still don't get how he's a -7. He had 5 turnovers, but I don't know. That's just one of those things. But here's the man. Here's Eric Wilson. He is back. Look at that. Not only do we get his wonderful his beautiful singing Philly pipes. We get his face now too. But yeah, and I was just talking about Jamal Mosley. I mean, his third season. You talk about young teams learning to win. The one thing with Mosley is the first 2 years people heard me say, like, yeah, you missed the playoffs, but you improve. You go 22-60, which we know is brutal. They're fifth. Then they go, you improve by 12 games. That's a hell of a jump, especially with a bunch of young guys. And I mean, I talked about Aaron Gordon, and you talked about Vucevic, who, again, they were losing, they were unhappy. Everybody knew their talent, and we saw what Aaron Gordon's meant in Denver, right? But what Mosley's done, man, and you got this young core. Again, it's not about silver linings. Yes, I know they're pissed off that they lost, but dude, I mean, what Coach Mosley's doing, nothing but excitement there.
Listen, for this team, I just really think when I look at the Magic, I'm like I said to you before, I'm excited about where they're headed.
Right.
What I hope, my hope is that they are able to continue this momentum, because in 2018, when that team, they got into the playoffs and they wound up facing ultimately who would then be the champions in the Toronto Raptors in the first round, you saw the energy that existed, and it rolled into 2019. And then all of a sudden it kind of and what Steve Clifford did, let me just tell you, what Steve Clifford did with that squad needs to be not only respected, but needs to be recognized. Because like you said, there were moments, and I go back sometimes, and it's so funny we're talking about this now, because I go back every once in a while, and I always watch some of our old stuff. And I particularly watch the Magic Perspective with Alex and Eric, and just some of the conversations that he and I had about this team. We knew what they were capable of. We knew where they could wind up and the potential that they had. And the fact that it didn't come to fruition,
right?
It just played.
Because you saw the talent. I remember you and
right.
Alex, because you guys were there, but me talking with you and Alex, like, I mean, you have a dude like Aaron Gordon, who, yes, I can't stand where he went to college, but it's like, dude, you athletically, you mix him in, and it's like, he can shoot, he gets open, he's going to take it to the rim. So you can run an offense through that. And then you guys were talking about it. I'm like, I get it. It's the NBA. And, at least but look, guys have, and I said earlier, and I'm not ripping on, I'm not saying every guy's, LeBron doing the thing, or KD jumping around, whatever, or even my boy Harden jumping around. I can say if a Sun Devil does something, fine. But like, the guys want to get out, but it's like, God, I could only imagine. I mean, Paulo Banchero's a freaking rookie, man. 38 points in a game 7. Right. I don't care if it's I said earlier, I don't care if it's a first round, it's a playoffs. Every single freaking eye is on you. There was that was the only game yesterday? Am I right about, or was no? That was the only game.
No, I think there was a second game. Whether there was or there wasn't. The attention was definitely.
No, dog, that was the only game yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. So then, Sunday, yeah. So that's what I'm saying to you. In that moment, when the lights are on and you jump out to a commanding lead in the first half, it's like, Cleveland, is this just you doing what you typically do? You fall apart when the lights are on and it's bright? I mean, listen.
Donovan Mitchell doesn't do that, but look, they killed him in the third quarter. It was 33-15.
I have nothing against the Cavaliers. What I'm saying to you is Cleveland teams somehow, some way, just can't get out of their own way to be prosperous.
Right.
Orlando, at least in the case of Coach Mosley, we knew they were going to rebuild. They were going to have high draft picks. We knew with Suggs coming in, Banchero coming in, Wagner coming in, and all these other players over the last couple of years, they're rebuilding. I get it. But now they have set a standard for themselves. Right. And now it's a question of,
hey, hopefully the Orlando media, sorry to cut you off, isn't like the ridiculous Boston, and I'll even say / New York media. I can't wait till I hear the first rumor. You got to split Suggs and Banchero up, just like you got to split Tatum and Brown up, because you and I were laughing at that. Not that other people weren't, but we were some of the first laughing at that from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
And I don't think anybody in Orlando will do that. I'm just saying, like,
no. But again, the teams that we traditionally consider to be in the mix with regard to the playoffs, you now have to, at the very least, consider Orlando based on what they've done over the course of 3 years.
Yep.
You now have to throw their name in the hat to say, can they get to the 6th seed? Maybe get to the 5 seed. It's a question of what is this team going to do moving forward? The beauty of it is they have a young team.
Yep.
And if they build on it correctly, from the head coach all the way down, then this is a team that over the next, I'll just say 2 to 3 years, we're going to be mentioning them with regard to the playoffs, asking the question, what are the, as you alluded to earlier, the sports reporter without pay, our guy Ray Lynn, what are the complementary pieces that Orlando needs to move forward and be in the Eastern Conference a team like a Boston, a team that when Jimmy Butler is healthy and all the pieces are around them, if he stays in Miami, a Miami.
Yeah, and I hope people
what the Milwaukee's are going to be like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I hope people there, like, look, it was look, you're ecstatic on one end because Banchero, like I said, 38 points and freaking 16 boards as a rookie in a game 7. Like I said, don't care what round, it's the playoffs. Brightest lights are on, and he balls out. Look, and I said Wagner earlier. I know he's German. So Franz Wagner, look, the guy averaged 19.7 points per game, 5.3 boards, 3.7 assists. People know, like, it just sucks in a game 7. He had to go 1 for 15. And look, in any sport, you don't have your day, man, and it sucks. Whether you're a basketball player, a pitcher in baseball, where you're like, man, I put pitches where they needed to be. You're getting lit up, whatever it is. But for Wagner, again, and it sucks to have that. I even before you jumped on, I shared a 2001 national championship story because that team down south was playing Duke, and two teams I can't stand. Of course, can't root for Duke, but. Gilbert Arenas.
Who did you root for that day, Mike?
I mean, I did pick Arizona because why I'm saying this to you is that 2001 team had Gilbert Arenas on it, Richard Jefferson, like Agent Zero's there, and even like Luke Walton was on that team. Like,
so it was the lesser of two evils.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was that 2001 team. Gilbert Arenas literally, had his percentage worst game of the season. He went like 4 or 5 for 18 because Richard Jefferson still is like, it still stings him, which, to me, obviously, if you played in it, it would. If you're a fan, it would. Because that 97 team for Arizona that won it, I was saying earlier, like talent-wise, starting 5, like I think the 2001 team may have been a teeny bit better. Although I think with Mike Bibby there, the point guard play may have leaned a little bit more toward the 97 team. But at the same time, like, Gilbert Arenas goes 5 for 18, and people are like, oh, you're going to, like, some of the rumblings even then, Eric, I mean, because it was 2001, like, you're going to draft this guy? It's like, oh, my God, dude. It's one freaking game. And Wagner, again, it does suck because the lights are bright. It was game 7.
Right.
1 for 15. But the game before, he's 11 for 11 from the free throw line in game 6 and, like, 7 of 12 from the field. Okay. Right. Like, I mean, and that part, again, it's tough. But let me ask you about the rest. Oh, go ahead.
No, really quick, I just want to say that with age comes experience, and that's all I'm going to say. As this team moves forward, they will capitalize on their mistakes. But go ahead.
All right, no, I was going to say, so we got the East. You got the Celtics and the Cavs. Obviously, we both have the Celtics winning. The Knicks, Pacers, I know you said you don't want Reggie Miller. So I think we both have – yeah, I mean, I lean to the Knicks. I think it's going to be a fun series, though, there. I don't think it's –
I want the Pacers to be swept in 4, okay? Break out the brooms. I don't want to see or hear Reggie at all. I don't care if he's on ESPN. I don't care if he's on NBA TV, TNT, TBS. He could be on Amazon. He could be on Hulu doing the specials. I don't care.
PSA announcement for Sports Arena viewers. You don't get to – Eric says he's always a hard man not to find, and usually there's nobody living rent-free, but there's been a lot of nightmares about Reggie Miller hitting three-pointers in the Garden. That's rent-free in Eric's – No, but I'm kidding. Believe me, man, I have a lot of cousins as you know, in Jersey too that were Knicks fans, and I never rooted against the Knicks per se, but being in Jersey, I rooted for the Nets until they went to Brooklyn. You know how I felt. You got the message.
Right.
I was like, yeah, you're like, oh, so you still root for the Nets? I'm like, they can go to hell. Like they could lose every game forever because they love Jersey. Like you want to leave Jersey? Go. And I love Brooklyn. I have nothing against Brooklyn, but you want to leave because you don't get, it stayed this and that. Yeah, good riddance. Have a good day. But let's shift to the West, because look, Minnesota took game 1, and I mentioned it earlier too. Ray posted that thing he said a few months ago, like Minnesota does have everything. It's a young team that, yes, can win. We haven't seen, Cat and Anthony Edwards do it in the playoffs. A guy like Rudy Gobert has had, not a championship, but playoff success. He that from that leadership standpoint, he could do it. But look, they take game 1, do the Timberwolves. They are up by 19 right now with 4:40 left to go in the second quarter. It's 49-30. But then on the top part of the bracket, the Thunder, number 1, get by the Pelicans, pretty much no sweat. They sweep them. They give them the broom. The Mavericks beat the Clippers in 6. I think if Harden and Paul George would have played the way they did in game 1, and again, I say that knowing, just like Wagner had a tough game, you can't do it. But when Kawhi came back, they just seemed kind of off. He came back, and it sounds like they were trying to seemingly not force it, but get him going. And the Mavericks actually played defense a little bit, which they didn't do in the regular season. But it's a regular season.
Surprise.
Yeah, I know. Nobody wants to in the regular season, so it's cool. But when you look at the brackets like that, when you see it, so look, if the Nuggets drop the first 2 at home, that's going to be insane. Look, it's only the second quarter. Yes, it is 19 points, but Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., I'm not going to count them out, obviously.
Mike, here's the thing. We were just talking about the Magic and the Cavs in Game 7. The Magic were up by so much in the first half of Game 7. Right. And then what did the Cavaliers do? Or more importantly, what did Donovan Mitchell do?
Right. Yeah, the third quarter.
He woke up and realized that it was his time to shine. So right. I say the same thing with regard to Jokic and to the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Are they taking Minnesota's best punch? Yep. Is Ant-Man right now the guy that they have to find a way to contain and stop? Yep. But here's the thing. It's not like Minnesota wasn't a high-powered team all season long. Knowing that you're going in to face the defending champs, knowing that you've got a guy who now people are comparing to the great Michael Jordan.
Right.
They're comparing his style, his game, what he does. It's like, okay, I knew of Ant-Man, but now everybody knows Ant-Man. You feel me on that one?
Yeah, because even in college at Georgia, coming out, I know he was one and done, but you saw against, Kentucky, Tennessee, you saw these insane athletic plays, and he could handle the ball. You're like, dude, this guy is going to be ridiculous, and you're going to have a high pick to get him. And yeah, he's grown into it. You got to get used to playing with somebody like Karl Anthony Towns because it's that big man. To your point, you're kind of leading me right down that road. To your point, to play with a big man like that obviously can stretch the floor, can shoot from outside, like a Jokic, like an Embiid. And even street clothes for the Lakers. But no, look, and he had a hell of a series too. But it's Anthony Davis. But you getting used to playing with athletic dudes like that are used to getting the ball, you're running through them, and then granted. Ant-Man was more, an off-ball kind of a 2-guard. He's not trying to be that point guard. And when you have experience like Mike Conley Jr., that's he had such a hell of a. It was like the loudest. It was the quietest, loudest first game 1 of a series. But what Mike Conley meant to that team on the floor, you could see it. So
Mike,
they're
getting. Think about it. I'm gonna put it to you like this right now. This game hasn't even gone to halftime yet, and Towns has 20-5.
Yep, I was just about to say that to you. Yeah, I looked.
Okay.
At that, yeah.
Towns has 20-5 right now. You know who has the most for the? Well, you do because you're following the stats like I am.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon has 15.
I was going to say Aaron Gordon must have heard us talking about him.
Jokic got 6 points.
Jamal Murray has 2.
He has 8 rebounds, but he got 2.
Yeah.
What is that telling you? That's telling you the second half of this game,
I don't
Denver
think
has to turn the light switch on.
Yeah, I don't think Murray's going 1 for 9 in the second half. And Jokic,
No.
I mean, look, he'll get guys involved, but if he has to score, I mean, yeah, they're now down by 24. But here's the problem: 3:24 in a second. I mean, look, it's 24. You'd like to close it to like 15 or 17 at half, which is crazy. But I mean, leaving yourself too big of a mountain at home, that's insane. But yeah, look, I still like the Nuggets in this series. I mean,
Mike, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Minnesota goes up 2-0,
in
if
Denver,
Minnesota goes up 2-0 against the defending champions, Mike, this game may go. It'll go 6, but I would not be surprised if it goes 5. If Minnesota pulls out a victory,
I'm gonna get a courtesy mention of hockey. Nope, it's gonna be like Dallas and Vegas in hockey. The first 4 games were won by the road team. Vegas won the first 2 in Dallas. Dallas won the first 2 in Vegas, and then when they went back to Dallas, Dallas won, and then
Dallas closed it out Game 6. Yeah, I know.
No, Game 7. It went
Game 7. That's right. Game 7. You're right.
So
but,
yeah. So
Mike,
I'm with
there's
you.
no way.
You're probably right.
I'm telling
You're
you right
probably
now.
right. But if they go down,
love Denver.
right.
I appreciate what Denver has done. But if Minnesota goes up 2-0, you already smacked the champs in the mouth one time. And now you finna do it again, possibly. You up by 24 right now. We're not even at halftime yet. 24?
Hey, let's see. Like you said, though, let's see how the second half goes. All right, what about the Thunder? Let's get to that before we get out of here. The Thunder. And look, I mean, I like the Thunder all year, but taking on the Mavericks, who, again, took care of the Lakers in 6, the Thunder got the sweep. I mean, SGA, we know what he's done. Obviously, Chet Holmgren, this young man, I mean, it's his second year, but it's his rookie year. Like, dude, they figured out how to play well together. They're young. They can play defense. What do you like in this series?
I'm gonna say this: if Kyrie and Luka can stay where they're at and continually find that rhythm, find that continuity that they need, Dallas is going to take this series. Dallas will take this series to 6, possibly 7. But at the end of the day, I got to go with OKC. I just think SGA is too much. I think if you put SGA in a game 7 in Oklahoma City when the lights are on and it's bright and it's time for him to shine, that brother gonna show out. So if Luka and Kyrie can keep that level, because they now understand what lay before them, they got a shot. But I'm still saying OKC.
Yeah, I like that pick too. I can see it going 7. And, as much as, I like to pick on Kyrie, his handles are sick. But you know me. I'm looking at you in the camera saying this. You know me. I'll never say they're better. I'll never say they're better than AI's, man. AI's prime. People can give me crap. I'm like, dude, just give me AI.
Mike, you VIP at the cookout, dog. You ain't got to impress me,
you
bro.
know, I always loved AI. Like that dude, like when he stepped over, people say, oh, I mean, look, he had help on that team. Yes, he was the man on that team. I know. They go to the finals against the Lakers.
Who?
Oh, come on, man.
Mike, you talking to a Philly guy. Who? Eric Snow? Who?
Snow shot like 30, almost like 37.
I'm about you running the show tonight, but I'm about to cut you off. So stop that. Stop that.
Look, dude, you can't get to the finals by yourself. They had a very solid supporting cast.
Mike.
Anyway, I'm just saying AI's handles. Like, look, I know what Kyrie can do. But yeah, no, I mean, I it's one of those things where when you look at, obviously SGA. I mean, my guy who he all year long, averaging 10.9 points, 3.6 boards, 1.4 assists. But Lugens Dort forks up. He's a Sun Devil, Jerry. Defensively, what he means to that team and the fact that they're young is just awesome. Like I said, Chet Holmgren had to sit out all last year. But, man, it's like Jalen Williams obviously averaging 19 points per game. And then, like you said, SGA, you're getting what, 30 from him. I mean, he averaged 30 points a game in 75 games this year. I know that's why we're talking about him for MVP. And look, what Luka does, I mean, look, I picked on him for not playing, defense. And I've made jokes to you. And I mean, I know I get, Ray and I got Ty going a few times, but dude, what Luka can do offensively is sick. I mean, his pace, he understands, the game's not sped up for him. So look, I think Luka and Kyrie, but I like you can make it happen. And yeah, they have a good, obviously you're not beating the Clippers if you have no, if you definitely have no bench, and you're not doing it with just two
Dallas
guys.
has a supporting cast. I just think listen, this is what I'm gonna say to end my thing on this. Dallas has a supporting cast. However, I just feel OKC just has too much in the vault and too much on the court to not capitalize on this moment, which is why I have them where I have them. Now, when we get to the next round, if it's OKC versus Denver, it's going to be Denver. If it's OKC versus Minnesota, dog, that's going to be like real talk. That's going to be a series.
OKC against Minnesota.
That's a series to watch, bro.
It would be 1-3. Okay, because that's right. Denver was 2. But if it is OKC against Minnesota, I am issuing it. We are not hard to find. People can share it, can retweet this clip, record it. I don't care. All the people that sat there and took all the age-old adage, they got to learn how to, they got to learn how to win. Regular season's one thing. If we get that Western Conference final, I want to invite all of you on to eat crow and say that is antiquated. I even thought of that way back when I used to tell you. I told you this when we first started talking hoops, like eons ago. Like when they said that about Jordan and the Bulls, it's like, yeah, okay, you can say it's a physical game, but it's like, yeah, okay, learn how to win, but it's like, they have to lose to win. No, they freaking don't. Like,
Mike, I'm gonna tell you right now, you and I both know the keyboard warriors. They ain't gonna show up.
No, I meant the other media.
You already know.
Keyboard warriors, yes, but the other
I'll
media
extend.
people.
The other media people.
Yeah, I invite you.
Listen, you and I
always get crushed. I told you every time I talk about that, I get crushed, and I just send a smiley face back saying, "Okay, we'll see."
My brother, we will send out all the invitations in the world. If 1% show up, I'll be surprised. They know where to find us. It ain't that difficult.
Yeah, it's like Ohio State fans. When I call them out, only one showed up from the week before they played Clemson and got blasted. I don't care if that was years ago. You didn't deserve to be in the playoff, and you look like fools, which was beautiful. And Penn State should have been there because they played in the best bowl game of the season against USC. Just saying.
Mic drop moment from Mike Caratinito. Hey, man, my brother, as always, thank you for holding it down tonight. Much love to you. I got to bounce, but yeah, man, let's see what these NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs are like.
But, man, yeah. I think I mentioned it a little bit last week, but these have been great playoffs.
I got to tell you this much, though. Coming up in about, I think roughly, let me look at the calendar real quick. I believe we got 9 days. I think, if I'm not mistaken, please hold.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in about 9 days, my brother, the W is getting ready to kick off, and so much talk, of course, is surrounding, Caitlin Clark. But I'm gonna tell you right now.
Did you see that Cameron Brink swat the other night?
Yes, I did.
Woo!
Yes, I did. I did.
That's all right, because Phoenix is gonna win it all. Dallas is going
nowhere. I'm right there with you.
Dallas is going nowhere.
Phoenix. Hey, but Arike.
Yeah.
That in the preseason, that shot she made to end the game.
Yep.
I'll never sleep on Dallas. And shout out to the Queen of Hoop.
I got to talk that trash because I can't sleep on them.
But the first matchup is May 25th in Dallas.
Yep.
That's the first matchup. The first of 4.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Before the All-Star break. So. All right. Hey, well, we are out of here. That is Eric Wilson. He is the man. I'm Michael Caratino. We're going to get out of here. We will see you next week on the Sports Arena. And, like I said, all of you people talking both sides of your mouth, Eric gave you the invite. We will see you next week.